Merry Meets everyone, Earthfire here, and today I thought I would discuss how I get rid of my spell remains. I'm sure there's a million different ways that people get rid of their spell remains, but I'm just going to go over the way that I get rid of my spell remains. Normally when I do spell workings, there's usually around the same type of spell workings that I do. It's either straight petitions, candle magic, that is, like this that's left. I've let it burn down and I'm done with it. Or I have taken that candle working and put it into a sachet to continue that working. Those are my main ways of doing spell workings. So each one needs to be handled a little bit differently. So starting with the petitions. So I don't do petitions, just straight petitions on its own very often. Normally it's for quick workings that I just need to get out there, and I don't really have the time to deal with a whole candle working. So normally I'll just write out what it is that I'm, seeking as the, part of the petition. I'll burn it, and then I will normally let it sit several hours to several days, depending on, what's going on in my life. And then I have two ways that I get rid of spell petitions. This is after it's already burned and I have the ashes, and this is what's left. So in my way of seeing things is once the spell work is complete, so whether that is a petition when that's completely burned down to ash, that in my opinion that is the spell complete. It's already sent off to the ethers and is doing its working. This is just remains of the working that I did. I consider this is just the leftovers. The spell has already gone and is out working its magic on doing whatever it is it's supposed to be doing. So I will cleanse the remains of, I usually just wipe it clean of whatever has been done. So I'll cleanse it of all magic. And I will do that with every spell working that I do. I'll cleanse it of all magic, and then, I'll proceed with however I'm going to dispose of it. So for petitions, there's two ways that I do it. One is that I wait for a windy day, and I just release it into the air. That's just kind of how I do it, because air, is an element, and it's taking what's left of the petition to wherever it's going to take it. The second thing is that I will add water to this, and I will go and, usually on my property somewhere, depending on what type of petition it is, if it's a petition for gaining something or something for my household, or, mainly positive things or protections and stuff like that, then I will, just fill this with water, and then I will return it to the earth somewhere on my property. If it's a releasing, then I will normally just take it outside of my property. I don't have a whole lot of places in my area that I can just go dispose of stuff. We're a very rural area, and you would think that you would be able to, take things other places, but I really don't have access to that. So if it's something that I'm wanting to get rid of and I don't want to dispose of it on my property, I will normally just dispose of it somewhere away from my property, whether that's on the outside of my gate in the alley, or taking it to a park, or somewhere out in nature. It just depends on, the situation and what I'm able to do. So Those are kind of the two ways that I deal with petitions. So for regular candle magic, so this is a candle working that I've done. I do have a video on it on my channel. It's the Money, Wealth, and Prosperity candle working. I've saved this for this specific video, so it's kind of been sitting here for a little while. So once again, I consider once the candles burn down that the working is complete. It's sent out and doing its job. So this is just the remains. So I will cleanse all of the remains of, magic, whether that be with sage or just intention. Sometimes it's hard to do it with sage, so I'll just, cleanse it with intention, saying that I, wipe the remains of this from the magic from all remains, and it is neutral now, and all of that. So it'll be completely wiped of all magic. I will take out what I can, what I want to keep, like my coins. I will take out my coins because I reuse these all the time. So I'll clean those up and I'll add them back to my money altar until the next time I need to do a money candle. And then everything else I will just gather up and I throw it in the garbage. If this was a negative working of any sort, I would probably try and dispose of it somewhere else by maybe going to a park and throwing it in the garbage there. Something like that, something legal. Since this is a paraffin candle, I probably would not put it back in the earth. But, if you choose to, you could take the natural elements and bury them. I really don't go that extensive. Normally, if I don't have something that I can just release out in the air or return to the earth somehow, it goes in the garbage. But that's just me. You can easily, take it somewhere and bury it. If it's a natural element, dispose of the things that aren't natural in the garbage and reuse what you can. So that is what I would do with a candle working. Like I said, keep the things that I want to keep, dispose of the things that I don't. And before I do any of that, wiping it of all magic. And that can just strictly be done with intention. Just, just like you do with anything else, your intention is going to be of clearing these remains of all magical workings and having it be ready for disposal. And that's basically all you got to say is, something similar to that. So that's how you would do candle magic. Now, for sachet work, that's normally a candle working that I have done at some point, and I put it in a sachet or a mojo bag, or, sometimes you can do it, add them to poppets. I don't normally add candle magic to poppets, but if for some reason you did, it's all kind of the same concept. So this is a working that I did for my daughter for when she was going back to school. I would take this working after I'm done with it. For those of you that don't know, sachets are workings that you've done and you're putting them in a bag or something to maintain that working, and you add to it every week, month, however it is that you're going to be doing it. So when it comes to the time that you don't want to, you don't need to be working anymore and you're ready to dispose of it, I save the bags. I normally, because these are the bags I have, they're white organza bags, and I use a lot of powders and small things, glitter, all kinds of stuff in my workings. So I have to add all of my workings. I add them into a coffee filter, and then I put them in the bags, for safekeeping. So I would keep the bag, I would cleanse it, and all of that, and make sure it's nice and clear for the next time that I want to use the bag. And then I would take the working and cleanse it the same way that I would do any of the other stuff. And then I would normally, instead of, if there's something in here that in the bag that I want to keep, like a stone or a coin or something, I would take that out. I would cleanse all of that and have it ready for the next use. And then I would dispose of what's left, whether that be in the garbage or in my garbage or in some other garbage. I normally try to put all of my things in the garbage, just simply because, you know, when I do a candle working, I have all this stuff, it's all mixed together, and it's all stuck to the wax that, you know, is from the candle. And the candles that I use, because I don't have access to really great candles like beeswax and stuff like that, they're very expensive here in the US. And as much as I do candle workings, I can't afford to, you know, use some more natural waxes. So I have to use paraffin wax, and that's not real great on the environment. So I don't like burying it in the ground where I live. So I like throwing them in the garbage. So that's how I do it. So since your sachet working's already kind of bound up and everything, you can take sage and cleanse it that way. You know, basically the same intention of, you know, cleansing it of all magic. That way it's ready for disposal. So basically, to sum it all up, is I'll keep what I need to keep out of it and I want to reuse, like the bags and the coins. You know, if you've used like representations like this confetti, you can reuse those and basically just dispose of the rest. So like I said, mainly if it's something for my family or my home, some sort of positive working, I will just dispose of it in my garbage. If it's a negative working of some sort, something I'm wanting to get rid of, then I will try and take it to a park or something and dispose of it that way. Unless it's, you know, just a petition with paper, and then I will just dispose of it in the air or the earth, however I choose to do that. So I just wanted to go ahead and share this with you. I kind of feel like I rushed through that. So if you have any questions, definitely leave me a comment and I will answer them the best that I can. But, you know, that's how I deal with my disposal of my workings. I'm sure there's a million different ways of how people deal with it. You can take things to, you know, different areas and burying them in those areas like crossroads and cemeteries and banks and stuff like that. I don't do that because I don't really have any places that I can do things like that. So this is just how I do it. I'm very, you know, my magic's always very simple, and I try not to make it any more difficult than what it already has to be. So disposing of things, in my mind's eye, needs to be just as simple as the working that I'm doing. So I see nothing wrong with wiping the remains clean of all magic and throwing them in the garbage. You know, some people were very sticklers about you have to, you know, do these certain things, and I'm not. I try to keep things very simple, and the more simpler I can have them, the better off that I am. So I thought I would just go ahead and share it with you, and yeah, so I will see you next time. Blessed be.